Hello and welcome back to another episode of For Azeroth. I am one of your hosts, the true villain Manny, and I am joined by Lex. Lex, how are you today?
I'm great. It's raining.
It's raining. Yeah, it's raining here. I think it's no. We got nice blue sky out there. Oh man, why do I have these curtains drawn?
I'm Manny
Oh,
and I
that's
don't live on a
glorious.
coast. I'm Manny and I can
Oh
see
wow,
the
it
sun.
looks you can actually see the
I'm Manny
difference.
and I'm not experiencing a tropical depression.
That's
what you sound like, by the way.
Blue skies.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a whole different social media platform.
Indeed, which I'm not using as much as I should. I
Yeah.
will figure that out. But we are not alone. We are also joined by chat. Hello, chat. How are you doing? I hope everybody's good there. And then, of course, we have Sean. Sean, I did it. I put you till the very end. How are you doing?
I'm good, Manny. I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate you accommodating me in your own special way. Yeah, that's great. That's great. How's everybody? How are you guys doing? Are you having a great day? I'm also experiencing rain, Lex. We can't all have beautiful houses on the beach like Manny does. So
What? Okay, Sean, is your house literally on the beach? Are you projecting? How far is the beach from your house, Sean?
it is a 15-minute drive from my front door to the waves.
God. Do you guys want to just like send me some money? Like, do you want to just like send me a little bit of money?
Okay.
I would, but I'm not allowed to send money to people online anymore as per the new agreement of our marriage. So I can't.
There you go. There you
Marriage,
go.
man, ruins so much. That's not true. That's sorry.
Yeah.
The joke, to be clear, and before anyone thinks that I'm a bad person, is that obviously I wouldn't say that because marriage is beautiful and having a partner in life is gorgeous. And I'm so happy for all of you married couples. Marriage doesn't ruin anything. We love our wives.
Yeah, I'm not actually married either, so there's that.
Oh,
There you go.
then marriage, who needs it? We hate it. Anti-marriage on this podcast.
Marriage. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
We're not anti-marriage. I'm fine with people who want to get married.
Yeah.
The rest of you living in sin, we'll all enjoy that too.
Can we start the episode over?
I thought
Oh, see, Epidemia agrees with me. Living in sin. Guys, we have a podcast. Let's get into this. First, I want to ask you guys, how has World of Warcraft been treating you? Because right after the last episode, immediately, like clockwork, Blizzard has changed their we're going to update things from right after Faz on Tuesday, or sorry, rather, right after Faz on Monday to right after Faz on Wednesday. And I'm what... You know what, guys? You're welcome, because we talked so much about the pre-patch event. And so many changes have happened. And I know I had thrown this like deep into the show notes, but have you guys been enjoying the pre-patch at all? Or have you been off playing other games, as the pre-show may have mentioned? Let's start with you, Lex. What have you been up to?
So currently, I just have not been home a lot. I was back and forth to Boston, which I really should have just gone up to Boston and stayed, but I didn't want to. So I have not been in my house and not been playing games. If I were to be playing games, I would be taking my podcast responsibilities and my work as a World of Warcraft content creator very seriously, and definitely playing the pre-patch, and definitely not playing Baldur's Gate. But because I am also certainly not behind everyone else in the world who played Baldur's Gate a year ago, and I'm certainly not just getting into Act 2 now. But so I haven't been able to play a lot because I had to be social in the real world with my friends and people I love.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So
Wow. So bad for Boston.
That's, I mean, you know what? It's a good time to like get out there and touch grass or whatever the hell they have in Boston.
Hell
And
and concrete. I'm sorry.
hell and concrete. Okay. And I'm really glad that you're able to do that, especially since we are in the pre-patch. I obviously have had some real life stuff too, so I've been away from the game for part of the week. We delayed the show, but we're here. It's Friday, and I'll be getting this episode out as soon as possible. But Sean, what about you? Have you been diving into the pre-patch?
Yeah. I made a joke that Blizzard had a team assigned to listen to the show to make changes based on what we said, and that I thought it was a joke, but it seems like that was real because they changed the things we said. I have been playing the pre-patch event more. I will say that the pre-patch event is currently in the best state I think we could hope for. It is fast leveling, fast gearing, fast acquisition of the toys or the pets and the mounts if you want them. And if you are so inclined, it is almost entirely AFKable. Do I think that's good content? No. But as far as pre-patch events go, it's a great pre-patch event. I'll take it. I have achieved all of the goals that I had for the event. I have all of the Transmog unlocked, which is all I really wanted. And then the characters that I ended up leveling to 70 in the process of unlocking that Transmog have now also been fully geared out because you have enough currency to buy any pieces they were missing at 480. I don't ever have to log into it again, and I think that's fine. I think the people that are still playing it can at least enjoy it in its best state. Yeah. But if you want fun, go play Remix while you still can.
There are only few days left in Remix. So yeah, definitely if you are looking to try Remix, you have a very short period of time. But as for this pre-patch event, I think you're right, Sean. When you say it's the best version that we could hope for at this point, I agree with that. I don't think they could do more unless they were to like make a completely different event, which at this point we're way past that point. So for people who don't know what they did, they fundamentally changed it. The zones now rotate every hour. There's no 90 minutes this week, 60 minutes, 30 minutes change. It is just every hour the zones will rotate. Within that hour, if the event is done, it immediately restarts itself in that same zone, and you do it all over again. The rewards have been increased, so the amount of currency that you're getting, the random drops that you might get for the gear as you're leveling, or gear that the 480 gear when you're at 70 has been increased. It drops crests and flight zones now, which is fantastic and allows you to upgrade that gear further beyond 480. The gear is now actually able to be used with the catalyst and turned into tier sets, which is just like, why was that in it at the beginning? That seemed sort of a no-brainer.
Not only that, so it gives you your 4-piece, which doesn't really matter. More importantly, every single class that you don't have the LFR and normal transmog for from the season 3 or whatever season they are for this, because it's different based on the votes, you can now go get those. You get a full set of the Defender's gear. You fly over to a Catalyst. You have 9 charges on every character that exists right now. You dump all 9 pieces in. You've got a full transmog set of LFR. And then you can use the crests and flight zones you got in the event to level that up and immediately get the normal coloration as well. It is sort of like a transmogger's dream event right now.
I mean, it was Trial of Style up until, I think yesterday or today? Yesterday. And I was like going nuts on the transmog. So I really enjoyed this. There are unique transmogs that people have discovered since we last did this. There is a shield for both the Alliance and the Horde. There are a couple of like stuff that is like the same as you would see on the Exile's Reach, as well as some stuff that wasn't on Exile's Reach. So if you're looking for that transmog, you can pick that up by just leveling through this. They've adjusted the difficulty of stuff, so like the mini bosses and the bosses and the objectives are just a lot smoother. Honestly, every pain point that was in here, they seem to have affected over the course of like 2 hot fixes in rapid succession. We had one literally the day after we recorded, and then again There was another hot fix quickly after that. So
Yeah.
I think that. Go ahead.
To the team that watches the show, like whatever team was assigned to For Azeroth dev team, take the weekend off. There's nothing else that needs addressing right now. You guys earned it. You did a great job. Thank you so much. Take the weekend off. We'll see you on Monday.
And they're unionized. So
no, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Here you go. They got better chance of work-life balance because of the unionization. Hell yeah.
That's right.
And honestly, it was reflected. We put out a Spotify poll asking if the recent changes have fixed this event, and we were very critical about this event on the last episode. And 100% of the respondents said yes, the event is fixed. So that's been good. We've seen people in chat like Queen and everybody saying like, yes, this is great. I love it now. And I'm glad for that. I just think that fundamentally the event is sort of, if you're not in it for the prizes, you're just done with it. And at a certain point, I think you will it just becomes mind-numbing enough that you just kind of say, you know what, I've got enough alts at 70, I'm done. I'm still going in. I want to get at least one character of each class up to 70, but it's no longer about this event. It's because I want them at 70 for the Love is in the Air event, so I can try and get that stupid mount.
Isn't that a 1 time a week drop with the scaling? That's a holiday mount, so that'll be affected by the change to holiday mounts. You only need one character now.
So it's bonus on the first character.
Yeah, that's it.
Right?
It's you only have the option to get it on one character. That was the change they made.
I'm okay. I thought it was like a significant bonus for your first attempt.
So that was 2 changes ago. The last change to holiday mounts, I'm pretty sure, said you get scaling, you get bad luck protection, and it can only drop on your first run of the day.
Okay.
I'm almost positive that's what it said in the last event.
Okay.
That it was there was no more reason to run more than one character, and that character, it was what was the event? Maybe Easter? Maybe not Easter. I don't know what the event was, but I'm pretty sure that's what it said. And we reported it.
I'm almost positive. Yeah, we did report on it, but it wasn't Easter because that one
it wasn't
could run with multiple.
It was
characters.
whenever it came after Easter, yeah. But they did say it was the fire one, yeah. They did say it was for all. They said we're making a change to the way holiday mounts drops work. So
right, because you know why I didn't pay attention to it, because it was one of those dragon transformation, not even a transformation. It was armor type on it.
Yeah,
and they made the change.
Yeah,
and I wasn't even attempting. Okay,
did you guys not get that on your first poll?
Sorry,
did you guys not get that on your first poll ever?
You.
I might have gotten it, and I just didn't care enough that like I didn't care. Like I may have got it and just be like, I don't care.
That was exactly what happened to me. I was like, oh, I guess everyone gets this.
Yeah. If I'm wrong, I'll have Manny throw it in the show notes for this week. So if you're listening to this and you're like, no, that's definitely not what it said, and you are certain you're right, you can jump in the Discord and post the blue post to me where it says we're making a change to the way holiday mount drops work. And if it doesn't say that, which I'm almost positive it does, then we'll make sure we post it in the show notes.
Okay. Yeah, I Googled it while you guys were talking because I remembered the technology exists, and I think you're right, Sean. I didn't read the full article because I was technically doing a podcast.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry, you broke up. Can you say that again?
No.
Just the part in
it's
the
okay.
middle.
It'll be fine on the audio. Don't worry about it. You don't
Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the pre-patch event. It is in the best shape ever, and get in all those alts as long as you can bear it, which is sad that it's the best state ever, and we're just like, yeah, it'll get old.
If you're honestly, if you're leveling alts, just still do remix. It takes 45 minutes to go from 10 to 70 if you have a geared friend or a geared character on another account. Yeah, remix is still faster leveling, but you can't AFK remix and you can AFK this.
There we go. Okay. With that said, let's look towards some of the stuff that is upcoming. For this one, we have got the launch patch. And the launch patch is coming next week, the 13th in NA, 14th if you are part of the European crowd. And that is going to include a major set of updates, not just to classes, but some stuff in the UI and such. People who are part of the add-on community have said that this will be Armageddon Part 2. So be prepared for all those add-ons that you fixed and stuff. You're going to have to fix them again. But for those of you trying to learn your spec or talents or any of that, well, a lot of that is also going to be upset. When we had this pre-patch that came in, and Sean, you were talking to me and you're like, oh, you should be happy. And I'm like, actually, this is based on a build they had a couple builds back. And I haven't been super happy, but you know what? It's giving me a reason to play my alts, guys. And I've been happy about that. But this has all of the stuff that they've put in the War Within, which means that shamans are going to be rejoicing, especially enhancement shamans. Warriors are pretty good throughout. I think like there hasn't been a crazy amount of changes. Sean, you're more warrior than I am.
Prot warrior will play functionally the same. You won't notice a difference. Fury warrior plays functionally the same at 70 with this build. You won't notice a difference. Arms will be slightly weaker.
Yeah. And I play protection on my warrior alt.
You might, yeah, curls. You might start to notice the fury or the rage generation changes on arms. I don't know. Arms is not integrate. It's sort of, yeah. Anyway, play what you like.
Okay. Or play what you hate and be on the right raid team.
That's right.
I think that my only other alt that I've really been paying attention to is the Warlock. And Warlocks have just been in such a good place in Dragonflight. I'm a little worried, but I'm not super read up on the Warlock. So hopefully it should be good. And it's only we've got basically less than 2 weeks before early access, and we're all and everybody who got the epic is going to be pushing through, and then 4 days afterwards everybody's going to 80. So it's such a short period of time that we're going to be in this situation. I just suggest to you guys, back up your data so that when all this happens, you can and things get corrupted, you at least have your settings and stuff that you can bring back in and then work from there.
Especially you role players who I'm sure listen to these podcasts. Girl, your TRP, it's screwed. It's gonzo. Make it better. Put it in Word. Sorry, Manny, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna ask, what's your ritual / stuff that you do with like new patches? Do you have like RP add-ons or just like general things that you have to sort out? Is it like a one button click and you're done? Are you using base UI? Like, how bad is this gonna be for you?
So the only add-on that I mostly fix my add-on. Like, my add-ons are a weird little Frankenstein of different things that all do different things for me. So I have I use grid that I don't really customize a ton. I customize it a little bit to reveal other, to do tanks and healers and stuff in pretty colors. And then I use Tell Me When to do most of my alerts. And then I have 1 or 2 WeakAuras, but I don't use a lot of WeakAuras, even though everyone tells me I should use WeakAuras instead of Tell Me When, but I use Tell Me When, and I'm not changing. And then I use Decursive, but there's 5 different add-ons going, but most of them I haven't individually messed with a lot. Or if I do mess with it, it's things that I change mid-raid frequently. For example, I'm constantly going between whether I want to know how many stacks of a debuff there are on Decursive versus how long a debuff has. And that I changed, mid-raid, which is why, if anyone, back when I was streaming, my UI was hideous, and it still is. It's just nobody knows anymore because I don't stream anymore. Pro tip. And I also have had my guild yell at me that there's so many noises that they can't, if, we're doing a thing together, and they're like, does somebody want to go on stream so we can watch them? It can't be me, because they're going to hear all my little dings every 2 minutes. But what that means, I might have to mess with my tell me when, if all that clears. But that's not hard. I just go and I put the sounds back. We move on with our day. WeakAuras, by and large, I'm pulling them off of other sites, so I just pull whatever they have. So basically what I do is I log in, I get the little pop-up that says your add-ons are out of date because I'm an idiot and I always forget to do that first. And then I log out, I update all my add-ons, I log back in, and then I figure it out. Call it a day.
Okay. All right. So 2 things. First is that you no longer need to log out, so that'll make it easier for you.
True. I will anyway, but I don't have to.
And then, I actually want to throw this to Sean, because Sean, you are very strict about like how you manage your add-ons and like how you have your UI. You're very much, I feel like Lex just described your nightmare. So I gotta get your opinion on this.
Before we do that, I have to know, what is Tell Me When?
So Tell Me When, it makes a little bar basically where you can drag spells and abilities into it. And then you can set noises, you can set them to like disappear and show up. So I have them so they show up when like the spells that I'm supposed to keep on cooldown come off cooldown. I have them make a little ding and
Hakili?
Don't do this. Don't do this. You're gonna try to suggest other things.
No.
People are gonna be
I'm not suggesting other things. I'm trying to give Sean a reference. Hakili is like a fairly well-known version.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like Akili. This sounds like she's building her own WeakAura bar.
Yeah, building my own WeakAura bar. Yeah, but it does it for me. I don't have to like remember where you go, and then it breaks, and then it's like trying to show me that I don't have Shadow Word Pain up when I'm not playing my priest and I'm on my Demon Hunter, and I'm like, I don't know how to make you stop telling me that I don't have Shadow Word Pain up. I hate WeakAuras.
If WeakAuras are HTML and CSS, Tell Me When is Wix or Squarespace.
Yeah,
I got
there
it.
you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Very neat. I like that. That's very cool. You know what? Fuck up. Sorry, you're gonna have to cut that anyway. Screw them. You like Tell Me When, you use Tell Me When. Don't let anybody tell you gotta use WeakAuras, no matter how right they are.
Won't. They can tell me whatever they want. They can say it as many times. They say it every day.
Yeah, that's right. What she just described is hell for me. I use WoW Up with CurseForge. I check for updates before I log in every single time before I log in. So I'm always the most up-to-date version of my add-ons, and I use Now UI. I'm not going to do a whole plug for a other content creator's UI package, but he has an entire team of WeakAura devs that work for him, and it's literally 12 clicks, and my WeakAura, like my entire UI is set from scratch, like from zero, it's set, and there hasn't, like before every new patch, they release a statement that says, hey, things are going to be broken. Don't expect this to work right out of the gate. Be patient with it. And there has not been a patch dating back to DFA that it hasn't just been good. I have never had an issue. I would tell anybody who doesn't use something like that. Atrocity has a very similar thing. Quasi's is very similar. But anybody who doesn't use a package like that, back up your WTF folder like Manny said. But if you're somebody who likes ease of use, I definitely say check out some of these UI installation packages that other creators are making, because they are well worth it. I might check out Tell Me When. I don't love Squarespace or Wix, but I might check it out, just have a look and compare. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Okay. Little bit behind the scenes. I have watched a number of Sean's streams, right? And there will be points where he will test out an add-on, and he'll get like 2 or 3 things deep, and that 3rd or 4th thing won't work as he expected it to, and he doesn't have like a noticeable vein in his head, but you could just see Shadow kind of get a little scared and like make for the exits. And Tell Me When would get that for you. I'm sorry, Sean. This is not an exercise you want to do.
All right, no Tell Me When. Got it. It's a Better Bags moment.
The Better Bags moment.
All right, cool.
Exactly, Nick.
Cool. All right.
Can I just say though, to the creator of Tell Me When, if you're listening to this, you're my best friend. You are the light of my life. Yeah. You are the only reason that my parses ever have color on them. Like, my God, I hope you are living your best life out there. I hope every time you go to pick up takeout, there's no line. Like, you are absolute angel. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you. If you ever stop updating, tell me when I'm quitting World of Warcraft.
Lex, I will personally write you a week or a package if Tell Me When ever stops getting updates.
I was gonna suggest just writing her one anyways, but like that's a separate thing.
No, I don't. Listen. She likes Tell Me When. You can't tell her not to use Tell Me When.
And it sounds. I normally do.
I'm not.
You're not telling her not to.
I actually think the act of deciding what items go on the bar helps. That'll make you better because you know she has to know the class well enough to know what spells to track, and then she knows what spells to expect to see show up there. So that act of setting it herself is preparation of a kind that other people don't get if you just download a Luxtos Weak Aura pack and don't take the time to go through all the Weak Auras and see what they do. I'm not going to say that Lex using Tell Me When is better than people who just generically install a Weak Aura pack and never look at it. No, I am going to say that. Lex doing this is better than those people who just generically install a Weak Aura pack and never go to look to see what the Weak Auras are.
Okay, I was going to let it go up until you made that blanket statement.
Oh,
Lex,
Manny hates my blanket statement.
When you set that stuff up, are you checking against the latest changes to your class/spec so that you're getting you're making informed decisions based on the guides and Discord stuff that you've read, or are you going based on your last recollection of what was good?
No, okay, so I'm kind of splitting down the middle. This is how I study my rotation, actually, is I go into what's the word I'm looking for? Icy Veins or Wowhead, whichever one pops up first to search the rotation, because it's almost always the same. That I'm gonna get that. I know that's not true, but like it's almost always the same. And then I go based on what they say I need to keep off cooldown.
Okay. That will make it better than what you were saying. That extra step is needed of like putting it in, but putting it on informed decisions. If somebody pulls
all I'm hearing is Sean was right again. That's all I'm hearing.
No. Because you lack the nuance.
Does Lex putting her spells and Tell Me When make her better? With all of the information that we have?
No.
The act that all of the information that we have. Does Lex
you're adding in new information. When you made the statement, you were not.
I know Lex isn't just doing here like the Wild West. She's not a cowboy.
I feel like
I know she's not making up rotations on her own.
Are you telling me that like what I was doing was completely out of nowhere?
I feel like a kid whose parents like on the verge of divorce and like they're like trying to pull me into their little fight with each other, and I'm just sitting here like, yeah.
Who do you want to live with, Lex? Just tell us who you want to live with.
Okay. Well,
anyway, update: priests still don't have kick.
Crazy. Who'd have thought? But that's why I play priest. They never asked me to do anything. They're like, "Can you dispel this?" And I'm like, "Oh, fine." And I mass spell because I used a cursive, so I never have to spell on my hotbar.
Yeah, there's a lot of.
Manny started this episode by saying, "Let's try to keep it to a tight hour." 3 hours later,
there's a lot of changes in here that like I had missed. The changes to the camera so that like it doesn't jar when you go in between a tree or something is great. The changes to professions. I did not know that the concentration change had come in. Yeah. So that is huge. Like goodbye, just having the inspiration luck chance. Like even in Dragonflight professions, you're now using concentration. And I think that's great to test it out before going into the War Within. So I've loved that. And I think the concentration change is amazing now that I've gotten my hands on it.
Yeah, Enchanters made bank when that change came through. Because you could now guarantee rank 3 enchants.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any other changes that are coming with this week's patch that you guys want to discuss?
I mean, there almost certainly will be one tomorrow.
Yeah, after this episode, yeah. They're going to disable Tell Me When.
So then we'll stop the fight. We'll stop the fight with Sean and I, and we'll move on to the next story.
Can we do a Spotify poll to see who won that fight when we post this show?
It may not even make the show because now I got to do edits.
Oh, no.
All right.
Chat's going to side with me. It's okay.
We had a beautiful cinematic. And Lex, do you want to talk about this?
I do want to talk about this. I will say I'm not going to be as fluent on this cinematic because I am no better than a man and I got distracted a few times. But it's stunning.
I don't know if I should be offended as a man. I don't know if I should be offended.
I do. Wait, I want to back up. This is a very common Gen Z slang on TikTok and stuff. Now I feel bad. I shouldn't have said that. I wasn't trying to be misunderstood.
I should be more hip and with it. It's okay. That's my fault.
I thought we were all going to be on the same page. I thought I was going to say that and I was going to be like,
oh, it's my fault. What was it you called it? TikTok?
I'm just waiting for her to lady explain this to me. All right, tell me how I got distracted.
So, do we want me to like go through the cutscene, or do we want to just talk about the cutscene?
Just talk about it overall. We don't need to do a full react to it.
I loved it. I thought so. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna step out of my. I've chosen this cutscene to be the one that I go feral over. And I think that's valid of me, because it has Xal'atath, who I am on record saying is my wife. And they also really introduced us to Ansurek, and I need to have a conversation with whoever at Blizzard made the decision to make Ansurek hot. And before someone says Ansurek is not hot, I don't want to hear it. You're lying. This is Blizzard's fault. This is not me. I'm normal. I'm reasonable. This is on them. But it was a stunning cinematic. But also it was really interesting lore and seeing the play between Ansurek and her mother, who she kills. I'm assuming we can do spoilers. And her mother was like standing up to the void and like snapped her fingers, and I think she actually pulled a string, but whatever. And killed giant man with a face, giant purple faced man. And is like, we're not gonna go to the void because we are better than I'm not gonna turn my people over to that. And then Ansurek meets Xal'atath and is like, I will turn my people over to the void, which like, girly, me too. Fair enough. That's also my reaction to Xal'atath. And commits a little matricide. And then she and Xal'atath are like hanging out, having a little girls' night, a little party, going to town, turning over to the void. We stan. I personally do not want Azeroth to survive this expansion. I want to go to the void with them. I would like the option. I'd like a third faction where you just get to hang out with the girlies. That's my take on the
Okay. Okay, so big stan of Xal'atath, now new stan of Queen Ansurek.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
What's your question?
This goes right up there with. Go ahead.
Which version of Ansurek did you find the most attractive? The I'm still very clearly a spider version, or the ascended I've accepted the blood of the old gods inside me version?
I mean,
I just want to know how deep the freak is here.
I gotta say, I was like vibing. So okay, first of all, I'm trying to remember if I actually tweeted this or if I just thought it and then I typed up the tweet and I thought this is an inside thought and I didn't tweet it, but I'm making it an outside thought now. I called this during BlizzCon. I saw the Nerubians and I was like, that they're hot and I want them as a playable race. But I was starting to realize that I was going to be going on feral on Twitter when we got to the part where she killed her mom. So pretty spidery.
Okay, so
still spider, yeah.
Still spidery. Okay. I just wanted to know. I was just curious how tangled the web was. Now I understand.
Okay. All right. So then, Sean, what are your thoughts on Ansurek? Platonic thoughts. Let's keep it platonic thoughts going forward. What are your platonic thoughts on
attractive?
She's a very pretty spider.
Yeah. So I love the cinematic. I thought the cinematic was great. My thoughts are a little bit tainted based on some of the analysis videos I've seen about it. And I don't want to just parrot those as my own thoughts. Those people say it far more eloquently. But I think Ansurek is a little misguided and was easily turned. I think she's searching for something and willing to accept whatever consequences come without fully understanding what those consequences are. And I think she's going to regret it because I'm pretty sure we kill her in the first raid.
Not if you're my raid.
She's the last boss. So we definitely fight her.
Yeah, we definitely fight her. There's definitely some big story moment because they've introduced story mode with Ansurek as the focus of that.
I get shades of Arthas from the whole event, obviously, because of the child succeeding their parent who was a king, or who was a queen in this case. So shades of Arthas there, how Arthas was corrupted by the Lich King. Ansurek is corrupted by Xal'atath. Like it feels very much like safe ground a little bit. Although I think Queen Neferis was a stronger character than Taranis Menethil was. I was actually sad to see her get stabbed. I hope she is still alive.
That is a really...
I have played...
Go ahead, Lex.
Oh, I was going to say that's a really fair point. That was actually one thing that I did think in the cinematic is like they introduced me to this character and I was like, oh wait, like this is actually really cool. And I'm really interested to see the like idea of the Nerubians not as, you know, servants to the void. And we saw this in the Nerubians who were fighting Arthas, which I guess wasn't the void. But still, like, you know, like that sort of like pull away, like, no, I'm going to protect my people. And so to be introduced to her and then have her die within one cinematic was kind of sad. I also hope that we get at least that energy back.
Yeah, I was actually more like drawn to, not in a sexual way, but I was more drawn to the mother, to Neferis, because of the way that she was very like withdrawn and she was like stoic, and she just radiated this sense of power and control. Like she is doing what she has to do for the betterment of her people. She has all of this strength, all of this power. She's not wielding it willy-nilly. She's not out here just throwing shit around. And she to have the strength of will to turn down Xal'atath, because I got to tell you, I don't know a single person who would. I don't know anybody who would. Xal'atath would start to reach her hand out, and I would already be wrapped around her leg, signing up for the void. But Neferis she wasn't that at all. I hope there's a whole quest chain in the game where there's like a rebellion and an uprising. I guess that's a spoiler we don't want to talk about. Anyway,
don't go too far into details, but
yeah, that's the whole theme basically of us and Ashgahet. And I never played through to the end of it, so I don't know how it ends. But I hope Neferis is still alive.
Yeah, I think that I really want to know more about all of these characters, right? Because I want them to be sympathetic on all sides. I don't want it to just be like strict, oh, bad guy and stuff. I think that this is the first time we've actually seen Xal'atath as less than smirking, or sorry, more than just doing a smirk. So this is the first time we've actually seen her character, and there was a lot more character, and we'll get into that in a second. But like the dynamic between the mother and daughter, the queen and the princess now become queen, that was a cool dynamic. And I want more of that. I want to see why she finally decided to like listen to Xal'atath. Because I would hope that there was more of a weighing, that it weighed on her. Because you don't see your mother be like an absolute boss. An absolute boss to be like, this is the moment that defines our kingdom, done by this woman who is my mom, right? Queen boss here, and then be like, yeah, I'm gonna just stab her, right? There's gotta be that fall from grace, at least in her eyes, and I want to see that, to have that justification. There's also the thing that like this wasn't that long ago. Like the Nerubians, as short-lived as they are, because like you see her go from you see her go from like a little child, and she's got like the rounded face and her hair isn't that long, when Ny'alotha fell back in like BFA, and I know there's an entire conversation about like when that happened, but I think it's BFA because there's a lot of supporting evidence that says it that way.
Yeah, Nerubians didn't exist. The fall of the Black Empire. That's some good evidence.
Yeah, like the original fall of the Black Empire
was before the Troll and Akir War, and then the Nerubians didn't exist till after the Troll and the Akir War because they split off. Yes, it has to be. I don't think there's any question. It has to be BFA. It's also the only reason for Blizzard to specifically call out Ny'alotha is for them to cement the timeline in our brains. This is when this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, and like it's a short period of time. And that fall from grace was accelerated. And I bet you like there will be reasons to show that, but I also suspect that maybe Xal'atath was like, I just need to like turn these gears so that they're more willing to accept my gift, that they're more desperate. Because if they were in a good situation, she would have turned around and be like, yeah, my mom was strong when she did it, and I'm going to do it as well. So I want that story. This teased that story in a great way. So I'm really a big fan of what they've given us so far, but I want more. Xal'atath, like I said, more of Xal'atath than we've ever seen before. What's your take now on like the pairing? Because like I had to name this episode the Lex and Xal'atath pairing. Lex'atath. Lex, what do you think of your Void Mummy?
I think that she is very cool. I'm very excited for the characterization. That's such a really like deep and meaningful take on Xal'atath. But no, I agree. I like that they're actually giving her screen time and actually letting her speak. I think the Void is a really, I'm sure, very difficult to write, but as a somebody consuming the media, can be very fun to play against. Because that, like, how do you, like, manipulate somebody and get in their head and kind of twist their opinions and get them to do, but without them knowing that that's what you're doing. And, like, to be fair, often it's a little bit of a hammer, right? Like, you know, it's often kind of obvious what the point is doing. But, like, I think that can be really interesting to watch and see the writers kind of try to play with and try to experiment with. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited they're making Xal'atath into an interesting character. And I think... I'm also particularly excited as somebody who will point to the Shadowland Jailer as like one of the most boring, cut from nothing. I don't know. I was going to use a phrase, but I forgot what phrases are. Major enemy that we've had in a very long time. I think the fact that they're developing Xal'atath and she seems exciting and she doesn't just seem, I mean, you know, she's not a brand new idea that nobody's ever thought of before, but she seems interesting and she seems unique and she seems exciting, bodes well also for the story long term, right? Because part of what keeps an expansion story surviving is whether that main villain and that main enemy can carry you through. So I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I think this seems like a good take. I thought it was fun to watch. And, on top of the Void being a fun thing to think about narratively, it's also gorgeous artistically. Like, this speaks so perfectly to the World of Warcraft team's art style. I think that they just did oh my God, it was stunning. It was stunning the ways that they put those scenes together and the way that they blended Xal'atath and not blended, the way they gave her a big head and everyone was behind her and she was watching over her armies. Like, beautiful. Oh my God. Coloration, no notes, flawless.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about that animation because you've started talking about it, but I think one thing that really makes Xal'atath seem like a threat is how unnerving her movements are. And they did this with like a 2.5D. This isn't fully animated. She like comes out of that portal and it's something out of like a horror movie. She like swirls around behind in this, and they do it with like basically 2 frames of like she's here, she's halfway in between, and she's there, and they show a movement that is just unsettling, unnerving. They show character in that. She isn't the like stoic like heroes, I'll destroy you. She smiles, and there is an edge to that smile. The light in her eyes is dark. Right? And they did so well with like just less frames than a normal cinematic. And I think you're right. The artistic, the way that they convey that character with that art is fantastic. Sean, I want to give you the final word on this. Tell us a little bit about like how you liked or didn't like Xal'atath.
The coming into this, I was intrigued by the idea of Xal'atath. Excited to see where the story would take her. And after watching the cinematic, I actually just left feeling sort of sad and deflated. Imagine it's 2020 and we watch Sylvanas crack open the helm of domination. The sky shatters, and then you see Xal'atath behind her smiling. And they had this character who is obviously a master manipulator who works from the shadows, who doesn't have to be, insane and big and dumb and upfront. And instead of using her to be the one that pulled the strings on all of the things back to the beginning of whatever, they just threw the jailer in there. And Xal'atath, in her state that she is now, feels to me how the jailer should have felt. I am very excited, but they've already done, like, in my mind, she's the harbinger, she's the whisperer, she's the manipulator, she's the spider, she's all of these things, and she could have been the one, She manipulated the dreadlords, she manipulated, they're not the first ones, what are they called? Are they the first ones? Denathrius and those people. Whatever they're called.
Eternals.
The Eternals. She manipulated the Eternals. She manipulated Sargeras. She manipulated all these things because she's part of the Void. And this is what she's the harbinger of the Void. They could have used her for all of that. Shadowlands, I am on record as being very upset with the way that Shadowlands destroyed decades of a story that I love. And if they had just made the change and made it her instead of this unknown, instead of the jailer.
I agree. She's a stronger character than the jailer. I 100% with you on that. I just feel like Shadowlands could not be saved by that one transplant.
Maybe, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I think it goes a long way to help it. So anyway, I left feeling sad that happened, but hopeful and excited for what this means for the trilogy going forward. I just hope I don't want another retcon where we find out that Xal'atath manipulated the jailer into manipulating. If that fucking happens, Manny, don't ever ask me another lore question again, because the game becomes simply a Raid and Mythic Plus bot to me. That will be it. I'm excited. I can't wait to see her. I want to see a trailer with her manipulating Farron. I want to see her be the reason that the Emperor sends these people on their journey, She's the one who tells him, hey, send these people across the sea. She, manipulates Bellatar to teleport these guys into the depths so that they can start causing problems for the Nerubians, so the Nerubians can decline, so she can manipulate the Nerubians. That's the kind of moves I want to see coming out. I'm really excited for what the future could hold for Xal'atath. They did an amazing, amazing job. But I think that will be very cool to see her be that manipulator.
Yeah, I think that has built in already, because in BFA she's like, I'm gonna go find my own destiny, and we think she's gone off to the Void. But what if she had gone over to the Empire and been like, how can I manipulate these guys?
Mm-hmm.
How can I get this all going? And then part of what we're going to be getting, not just in the War Within, but throughout this entire huge Wolzel saga, this is what Xal'atath put into motion, and this is how she did it, because there is that gap of time that we can explore a bit. So yeah, I think that is cool, and it's already sort of written into the story. Okay, with that said, is there any other lore considerations you guys want to talk about with this trailer?
The old gods are definitely dead. They called it, right? She said it, or Neferis said it, and obviously she got that information from Xal'atath. The implication is that Xal'atath's been whispering to both of them for a long time. We saw N'Zoth's body, whether or not Xal'atath lied about that, but I think that it's confirmed that the old gods are dead. I think we can put that to rest.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the lore community will agree with me unanimously about that, so we don't really have to worry about.
The lore community loves.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
I also think a big one is that this dark evolution is with the blood of the old gods, right? that was confirmed in this trailer, which points back to the last trailer that we were talking about, whereas like that looks like a tentacle of the old gods. Are they using the corpse of N'Zoth or Yogg-Saron or maybe multiple different old gods, and maybe we'll get different dark evolutions based on the old god they did? Because the Nerubians, the way that they evolved was based on whichever old god they had the closest proximity to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that dark evolution could also be affected. Like maybe we find out that they went back to AQ and they're getting a different evolution from there in later on patches when they want to introduce new cool variants of it. So I think this is so awesome. I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, Sean, would you be willing to give a little shout out to our Faz family and thank them?
No, I don't feel like doing that. I don't think they've earned it. Special thanks to all of our patrons. Faz will always be free, but if you enjoy the content we produce, consider pledging to our Patreon at patreon.com/FAZ or FAZ, depending on where you live. All kinds of fun stuff there. You get the podcast episodes early. You get some behind the scenes stuff. And once a month, Manny sends a photo from his porch.
No.
Oh, well, whose porch is that?
I have a porch. There is no photo. Anyways. Oh, okay. You know what, Sean? Let's see if you can do a little bit better. Let's talk about something near and dear to you. This entire Transmog tragedy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, big Transmog news. On the beta, you complete a quest, you unlock all Transmogs from whatever reward comes in that quest across all armor types. Peasants rejoice. 11.0 launches. This no longer works on live retail. Blizzard remains silent. We have heard no confirmation of whether or not it was intended or not. People will begin to get nervous. Why is this still not working? Why are they not talking about it? Morgan Day told Mr. GM that we wouldn't have to redo Lore Master. Blood pressures rise. Panic starts to set in. The tweets get a little more intense. And then, yesterday, a post from Wowhead. And in the post, it has a response from a customer service rep to an individual who raised the question of whether or not this was a bug. And the post says, yeah, that's not how that's intended to work. That was probably a bug on the beta. We're sorry if you thought that was meant to go live that way. Give us some feedback and we'll let the team know, blah, blah, blah. And chaos erupts. It's a fire zone. Everybody on Twitter hates the devs. Why do they hate fun? Blizzard's the worst. I see what you've done. We were enjoying this and you took it away. They probably just want to hold on to it and release it as a new expansion feature later down the road. And then Blizzard finally responds to a blue post. Or makes a blue post in response to address this and other items on Transmog. And lo and behold, and this, if you're not sitting down, please sit down, because this may come as a shock to you. Lo and behold, the community panic was for naught. Blizzard said, yeah, we realized that was working that way. We're trying to figure out how to make it work that way on live and get rid of any bugs for it. It will be coming in 11.0.5. Cool your jets. And they also said we're working on a way to make class-restricted drop items that you currently can't transmog from old raids work and make them warbound. So it's an extra bonus win. That's coming in the same patch. I can't wait to find out what we're raving about next week.
There's a lot of heated emotions in Twitter off.
Bro,
but
I am so tired of React Twitter and React videos. It's the lowest form of performative content I've ever seen in my life. Just stop being angry for 30 seconds, people.
But then you don't get the views. Separately, though, I do want to correct one thing.
Oh.
What the post said was that not that the items would become warbound, the stuff that was class restricted. It's that the stuff that's class restricted if you pick it up and it's not of your class, it won't matter. The appearance will go into your collection.
Yeah, so you still learn it. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it's still learning it. It's
So
slight,
that's
it's a
actually
slight
better.
technicality, but
That's
considering
actually
how
better.
much people have jumped on technicalities,
Yeah, that's true. That's
we'll
true.
make the clarification.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been doing a ton of transmog farming. I went and did some old Legion content to get a particular change for one of my minions for my warlock. I have been running around and doing the Tauren quest in the Enoran Plains, because apparently you can get a totem as a two-handed weapon if you do that mog. And I was just like, okay, I'm gonna redo that quest, even though I felt it went nowhere and added nothing to the story. But it does give cool transmog if you're the right race. You have to be a Tauren or a High Mountain Tauren for it. So I get it a bit. It does suck if somebody wants to do the same quest 4 different times on each armor type in order to get it. That seems grindy for the people who care about it, and I'm glad that they've made it, that they are trying to make this change. What about you, Lex? Where are you standing on the transmog game?
Oh yeah, I think so. I have a mild tinfoil hat theory that maybe is more substantiated by my inability to remember things in a chronological order. I think this was always like I think that the blue post on the EU forums, I think that somebody just made a mistake. I think this is always how it was planned out. Like I think that there was always the expectation they were going to do this because it was live on the beta. Morgan Day said it, but also I swear I remember in the creator Q&As they also said it. I might be making that up. I might be inventing that memory, but I thought I remembered like multiple times devs mentioning that they were gonna, like, you know, everything was gonna be open. Everybody on Twitter was like, and everybody everywhere was talking about it like it was guaranteed and determined. And we know that Blizzard follows the social media very closely. So I find it very hard to believe they didn't know that, and they didn't know that this was going to be taken really, really poorly if they pulled back and said they weren't going to do it. So I could be wrong. I'm not a Blizzard employee. I don't know. And there was also some wording on the post. And me, when I reread it a second time, I kind of second guessed myself. The wording on the post that clarified that they were that said that they were going to bring back the transmog, you know, when you do a quest, or like it retroactively unlocks everything when you do a quest, it opens for everyone. It didn't feel like it was worded the way that, like, usually World of Warcraft is very like, we heard you guys, we understood we made a mistake, we understand why this is important. And something about the blue post felt like they were kind of avoiding saying that. And maybe I'm making this up because when I read it again, I was a little bit like, oh, well, maybe they are saying, like, you know, based on the community response. So my tinfoil hat theory is I think that they were always intending to make it so that the quest drop all loot that had been confirmed. That very much felt like it had been confirmed by the devs. It makes a ton of sense with the warbands. I think that somebody got wires crossed when they were making a blue post. And they act like somebody said, oh, we're not doing it, when like really what was said in the meeting was like, we're not doing it yet, or something like that. And that made a confusing blue post, and Blizzard didn't want to come out and make another blue post that said this person made a mistake. And so instead they're like, oh, never mind, we take it back. But
I don't think it was even a Blizzard employee who made the response to the ticket. I think it was a third-party company that they hired after the layoffs, and somebody who doesn't know, and they said, oh, I can't do this thing. And they looked, are we supposed to be able to do this thing? And they said, no, well, that's intended. And that's the response they got. I don't think it was anybody who had any knowledge at all. And then Twitter did what Twitter does and took that as gospel. And I agree with you that the wording on Kyvax's post, special shout out to Kyvax, fan of the show, our personal favorite community manager, Kyvax came out, and I think his post reads very much like, listen, we know you were expecting this. We told you were getting this. We are all aware that it's not working right now. It's still coming. Chill. Daddy, chill. That's why this doesn't read as like, hey, we heard you were looking. I read this post as him saying, guys, you're losing your shit over a post that we got from a customer service rep that's probably not even a human. Like,
Okay, good to know that
That's
was
how
I was
I
not the
read
only
that.
one who read it like that. Because that was my take too. That,
no,
like,
yeah.
I think that this was all just a mistake. I think that somebody just, or I thought it was the blue post, the first one, but I could be making that up.
No, it was a ticket.
It was a blue post on a thread on the EU forums, right?
Wasn't it somebody's ticket that was posted in? They put a ticket in and they got a response?
He posted a thread. When I was reading it, it was on the forums.
Let me check.
I know it was on the
The
forums.
EU forums particularly.
I do actually also kind of remember that it looked maybe a little funky. But you
guys keep talking. I'm gonna look.
Oh, this is the Kyvax one.
And then that person went back and corrected and said, hey, there's further information, crossed out their line, gave her the link to the article. So they made the correction to that. Unfortunately, poor Epi has put a link into chat and it got blocked because I don't know.
That doesn't happen in my stream.
People are saying that it is a very robot-y copy-paste response. Oh, in either case, it is something coming on that 11.0.5 patch. That patch is already on the central distribution network. It's just an encrypted one, so people can't data mine it. And I am hoping that, well, I mean, we've seen how quickly Blizzard moves with this sort of stuff. So I would not be surprised if this 11.0.5 patch showed up late October, early November. Like I could see it happening that fast.
Oh, I apologize. It was a post on the EU forums. I thought it was a ticket.
Yeah, no worries. You're allowed to be wrong. In general, though, I'm really glad that they keep putting in all of these updates and all of these like great quality of life changes. At the end of the day, like, yes, there was a bit of drama about this, but the end result is going to be that World of Warcraft is just that much better.
Yeah. We got to chill, man. I can only unfollow so many people. My mute list is so long. Just relax, people. Just relax.
Well,
just relax. Sorry.
Well, I hope all of you guys get a chance to relax. We'll be back again next Wednesday this time. And it's right before the weekend, so they have less chances to change everything before I get this episode out. But until next time, guys, may all your hits be crits.